All right. Welcome everybody to our Wednesday Ask Me Anything session webinar. Man, that is a mouthful. I'm super excited to be holding today's webinar. Before we dive in and we go right for the nuggets, right? You guys want the nuggets. That's why you guys are here. Don't kid yourselves. We can do a quick mic check and screen check. Let me know if you guys can hear me loud and clear, if I need to turn up the audio, turn down the audio, and let me know as well if you can see my screen. That would be fantastic. You guys know I don't like to waste any time. We're going to be diving right in. What's up, Michael? Good to see you. Good to see you. Eric Dupree, welcome. All right, fantastic. And for those of you guys just joining us, no, you're not late. We're officially getting things kicked off now. All right, so welcome everybody. So a little bit of housekeeping. Obviously, we run these weekly AMAs every single Wednesday at 3 p.m. Eastern. I think in the last 7-8 months, however long we've been doing these AMAs, I think we've missed one, and that's because of technical issues with me not being able to stream when I was in Barcelona for 2 weeks. So I got one to work, the other one unfortunately didn't. So each and every week, I'd love for you guys to join me. This is simply my way to give back to you, a loyal customer of mine, many of you guys for 6, 7, 8, even 9 years now. All right, so this is my way to give back with absolutely no pitch, right? So you guys typically bring the questions, I bring the answers, and I do my best to just give you nonstop value for 30, 45, even 60 minutes. And my goal really at the end of the day is just to provide more value for you guys and more actionable things for you guys than anybody else in the space, and to do it for free, right? That is the mission. All right, so if you guys love this stuff, if you love this content, and you guys want to make sure that you don't miss out on any of it, definitely recommend that you guys hop on over to YouTube and you subscribe to the Digital Triggers channel. And then after you subscribe, there's like a second step. You got to hit the notification bell for some odd reason. Then you can actually join the notification squad. And what that means is you'll get an alert when we actually upload content for you guys. All right. So obviously, if you want to go check out our website, check out all the additional content that we throw up on the site, you can check that out. For those of you guys that haven't seen it, you probably have it because I haven't done a great job highlighting it. We've been putting up some big pieces of content. We did a big piece on indexing. We did a big piece on Google's local service ads. We've now done a big piece on video SEO, and we have 2 or 3 more in the works. I'm not sure where my team is in publishing it, but definitely go check them out. Like, these things are mammoth and like step by step guides for you guys that we have put together. So I hope you guys enjoy that. So if you guys ever need me, you ever need my team, you guys can reply to any of our emails that we send out. If you're on the website too, in the bottom right-hand corner, there is live chat, all right? Notice, obviously, we're not always there around the clock 24/7, but you can send us a message there in the bottom right-hand corner, all right? So inevitably, on every single one of these AMAs, we get asked this question, so I feel like I got to answer it. Will there be a replay? Yes, of course. The replays go live on YouTube, okay, and they go live every Thursday morning at 9 a.m. Eastern. Okay, if you'd like to join us live and you're watching the replay right now, fast forwarding right through hyperspace and it's tomorrow, right? You can join us live each and every Wednesday for this call, and you can also submit your questions before the call, which means I can actually come to the call prepared. Right, digitaltriggers.io/AMA. All right, so with all that being out of the way, before we get started, I would love some feedback from you guys. If you're watching the replay of this, just let me know in the chat. If you guys are watching live on GoToWebinar, we're not broadcasting from YouTube today. So if you're watching live from GoToWebinar, did you guys see the video, and did you guys get the email that I put out about me quitting? Give me some feedback in the chat. 1, yes, 2, no. That would be fantastic, just to make sure I understand who's on the webinar today. And no, I'm not joking. This isn't clickbait. All right, so it seems like everybody. Yes, I was shocked. Holy shit, I got the email. Yep. 1, yes, 1, wow. All right, so guys, that wasn't clickbait. It was very, very hard for me to write that email. It was even harder for me to be on video and talk about it. So I'm not going to do that here today. If you missed that, you can go watch it on YouTube, and the video is literally called I Quit. So go watch it, go look in your email inbox, and it's a complete catch up. I'm not going away, I'm not disappearing, right? But my life has made a radical change and a radical shift. And I am no longer business partners with Ben Pate, and I no longer am a co-owner in Web1 or Web1 syndication as you guys know it. All right, so I'm not disappearing, I'm not retiring, I'm not going away. And in fact, this has really been going on behind the scenes for like the last 6 months. We just obviously, as we're wrapping things up and working through the details, right, it's in everybody's best interest to get the deal done before we made the announcement. So I literally told you guys the day that everything got signed, right, and got dealt with, everybody got an email from me, okay? So I wish nothing but the best of Ben. For those of you guys that have Web1 products, I don't think that anything really is going to change on your end. And what I mean by that is I think that you guys will be able to rely on the amazing support that you guys have always gotten, right, from Ben and from the support team at Web1. Okay, so first and foremost, does that make sense? Can I get a 2 if that makes sense to everybody? Okay, so I'm not disappearing, I'm not going away, right? Ben and I were in business for nearly a decade, right, together. And we accomplished some amazing things, right? And at the end of the day, I went through a hell of a transformation. Ben himself has went through his own series of big changes in his life. And we're very different people than when we get started. And we wish nothing but the best for each other. And I'm sure that you guys will continue to see me support Ben, right, and his offerings at Web1, okay? So just want to make sure that we're on the same page. So Frankie said he lost 10 pounds already just because of some of my videos. He said 20 more to go. That's awesome, brother. You're already doing it, right? Now you just got to stick with it. Lean on me. I'll help you out, man. So a little bit of a tease here. Friday, though it's technically a holiday, right? Good Friday, I believe. There's going to be a big announcement. And guys, again, I'm not rushing into things, but understand that this has been going on for over 6 months. So you guys know me, right? I work fast. I've had my time off. I've had my thumb twiddling. I've had my, I don't know what to do today. I don't really have a job anymore, right? I've had those times. I enjoyed those times. There are definite changes that we're going to cover today because I really want to share with you guys today my 6 business requirements that I came up with. And this is really the culmination of everything that I put my mind through, all the training that I went through, all the events that I went through, and really where I was in terms of my mindset and where I'm at today. And I want to share the 6 business requirements with you guys today because I think that there's a lot of good lessons in there. And then what I want to do is I want to share with you guys as I started to map out what I wanted to sell as a local agency, right? What those products needed to be as well, right? What were the criteria that I was going to set for the products that I'm going to sell moving forward? So I believe that these checklists, right? The list of 6 business requirements and the list of 13 things to have in your product as an agency, I believe that most, if not all of these, will be extremely applicable for you guys. And you'll be able to rip these and deploy these into your own list of items that you go through in terms of a checklist. So when you get presented with an opportunity, that you have something to score it with, right? You have something to really walk through and understand, does this check all of your boxes? So as I started to think about when I had to start over, folks, I literally was starting over from scratch. I got to remember firsthand what it was like starting over, right? The hurry up and wait while I'm setting up a business, while I'm waiting for my EIN, while I'm waiting for my merchant account approval, right? While I'm trying to build my website, it sucks. I found myself getting anxious, right? I found myself getting anxious. And I found myself starting to rush, right? Oh, this would be great. That would be great. I can grab this. I can do this. And, you know, then I'm trying to untangle the mess that I just kind of created in my head. And so that's why I came up with these two checklists, so to speak. So I think it would be a really, really good use of time for us to go through today those two checklists. Does that make sense to everybody? Give me a 3 in the chat if you're on GoTo. Does that sound like a good use of the next 30, 45 minutes or so? All right, we only got like 3 or 4 people saying yes. So you guys know me. There's a lot more people on here. I'm going to demand a yes. Give me some feedback. All right. There we go. All right, fantastic. Thank you guys. All right, so the 6 business requirements is where we're going to start. So for me, guys, I have come to accept that I am an amazing fire starter. I am amazing at getting a business going quickly. I am good at building that and blowing that up quickly, like going from 0 to 100 real quick, right? Going from 0 to 10,000 a month really fast. I'm good at going from 10,000 a month to even upwards of 100,000 a month really fast. But I've also gotten to know that I don't do well managing a large team. And I believe that it takes a very different skill set to go upwards past $1 million plus in revenue. And what I mean by that is as your team starts to grow, your org chart, if you look at kind of an org chart and the people that you need, that starts to grow. And as you get over 10 people, as you get over 15 people in a business, it becomes a completely different skill set to be able to manage that type of business. So me managing a team of 1 to 10, no problem. Me managing a team of 25, 30 plus on a daily basis, guys, I'll be frank, I'm not great at that. So no matter how many times I came up to that, I always thought I could just buckle down and I could plow through it. All right, Joe Troyer, I can beat any challenge. I'm just gonna put my head down, right? And I'm gonna be like a bull and just ram through this thing. Guys, I gotta tell you that never worked, not once, okay? So I believe that it takes a very different skill set at that level, okay? So at the end of the day, I need to be working in a business that supports that. So if I wanna have a business that does over $1 million a year, right? Then I need to be able to count on an amazing team, right? I can't run the whole thing, and I have no desire because of my experiences in building up lots of businesses like this, right? I have no desire to do this myself. So my choice is either stay at under $1 million, right? And be extremely lean, or build something big. So which do you think I'm doing? Staying extremely lean and staying under $1 million, or option 2, building something big? Give me some feedback. 1 or 2 in the chat real quick. Yeah, building something big, yeah. Okay, but I'm going to stay lean. So there is a lot of the business that I frankly don't want to touch, and I'm okay admitting it. And I think at the end of the day, too many of us are afraid when working with teams or working with partners to say, I don't fucking want to do this, right? I will do this happily. This is my sweet spot. Here's where I see I can add value. I don't want to do this. Okay, so if I can give you a tip, I would 100% recommend that you are vocal about what you want to do and what you don't want to do, or you will get caught doing what you don't want to do. It seems obvious, okay, but after 10 years, these are some of my biggest takeaways for you guys. Okay, business requirement number 2 is you need to be working with a big vision. At the end of the day, when I look at the businesses that we've built, when I look at the businesses I've built, when I look at when things took off and went crazy, and when I think and I look at when businesses slowed down, right, and the growth slowed down, I can really point that back to whether the vision was aligned across the company. Did everybody working at the company believe in that one big vision? Understand that it becomes a team sport, right? Like no matter how hard you try, if you're trying to build a big business, you have to rely on others. And if they don't believe in your vision, you're going to have lots of internal conflict, and it is going to be a struggle. Okay, so at the end of the day, I had to take a lot of time over the last 6-7 months and really work on my vision. What do I want? And folks, that's kind of an awkward conversation. Right? It's like scratching my head, like, what do I want to do when I grow up? Right? I encourage you not to rush this, right? To really think this through. And are you passionate about that big vision? Can you get people to believe in that big vision? If you can't, understand that you're going to have a big problem. Number 3, I'm only going to work in my sweet spot. I'm only going to work in my sweet spot. Much like number 1 and some of the points that we talked about, I'm going to be extremely vocal about what I want in this next business as we build it. All that I want to touch is sales, one-to-many, angles, right? The strategy behind the sales, and the overall fundamentals of fulfillment. Not the day-to-day fulfillment strategy, right? The overarching fulfillment strategy is all that I'm interested in, right? I can help come up with some processes. I can say, I think we should do these 5 things to start, then hand it off and say, now you're in charge of fulfillment, right? Figure out what's working and what's not, and I expect you to take this list over and run with it. If I can stick in number 3, I'll be the happiest. What does that mean? I'll bring in the most sales that I've ever brought in. And it'll help me focus on, number 2, that big vision and selling that big vision to prospects, to customers, to channel partners, to agencies like you, and the end customer. If I get stuck in fulfillment, the company is going to bog down. And so it is my responsibility to be vocal about number 3. Number 4 is something that I took from me being at Funnel Hacking Live in Nashville this year. So Russell Brunson, for the first time ever, I saw him do this. The first time I had seen it done really very well anywhere, but the first time I had seen him actually do this too. When you signed in for the event, you said, I'm here, right? And they gave you the swag bag and everything else. They had an agenda, and in that agenda, it laid out very, very clear Russell's value ladder, meaning you start here, Russell Brunson from ClickFunnels, right? You start here, you buy a book. Then once you buy the book, you go into the One Funnel Away Challenge. Then once you go into the One Funnel Away Challenge, you visit Funnel Hacking Live. You go to the event. Once you're in Funnel Hacking Live, right, then you join the 2 Comma Club coaching program. Then once you're in that coaching program, then you escalate to the next coaching program. And then the last piece is you get in this one-on-one coaching and very high-level mastermind group that, guys, I forget, but I think it was 150 or 200 grand for the year. But you could see the value ladder extremely easy. And I had this major aha moment. See, guys, one of the reasons that I've kind of butted heads with Russell, one of the reasons that I don't talk about funnels a lot, is that fundamentally, I think that they're flawed in a couple of ways. What I mean by that is, let's say that one of you guys comes to buy a product from me through a sales funnel. Why wouldn't I let you skip buying a $7 book and buy the end product, right? That's $150,000 or $200,000. If that's what you wanted, why wouldn't I let you just buy it all in one big gulp? Why would I tell you no? Does that make sense to everybody? Derek Drummond says, sorry I'm late, I was with a prospect. No worries, buddy. Glad to have you, man. Does that make sense? So fundamentally, I've always had a problem with like funnels and tripwires, and like, just if they know, like, and trust you, like, give them the option to buy all your shit. Like, why would you make a buyer that's willing to pay you 200 grand? Why would you make them pay you $7? Give me a one if that makes sense. Is this sinking in? Yeah, so I think that we should educate our customers, right? I think we should educate our customers about the value ladder, and we need to lay that out. Okay, so you need to figure out what your value ladder is going to be. What's your foot in the door offer, right? And then what are you going to sell next? And what are you going to sell next? And what are you going to sell next? And if you can show your customers that value ladder, I believe if you do it in a good way, you can get your prospects and you can get your customers to upsell themselves. Right? They came in, they bought the first thing, you educated them on the value ladder, and they raised their hand and said, hey, Derek, hey, Frankie, hey, Ricardo, right? Hey, Jerome, hey, Joe, I'd really like to just go to the next level, right? I need to fast forward. I need more leads, and I need it now. So I know I just bought the first product, but I'd like to buy 2, 3, and 4 as well. Any aha moments there? Give me some feedback in the chat. 2? Give me a 2 if that's an aha moment. So for me, I'm getting very, very crazy with my value ladder. Okay, so that customers can understand that value ladder. And from, guys, I'm taking this to the kind of the 10th degree. From my very first pitch with a customer, I'm including my value ladder. So people know exactly what's happening. So I'm not really making one sale. By all means, I'm selling one thing as the foot in the door, right? But really what I'm doing is getting them to buy into the value ladder. So when they buy, they're ready for the next step 2, step 3, and step 4, and they know how to get there. All right, number 5, 5th business requirement. How many of you guys have read The One Thing by Gary Keller? How many of you guys have read the book, The One Thing by Gary Keller, from Keller Williams, right? The realtor company. How many of you guys have heard of it? All right, man. Definitely a fantastic book. Absolutely fantastic book. So I got some explaining to do. So what's the best way for me to put this? All right. So as you guys look at your marketing plan, as you look at the things that you have to do, as you rate, as you score your opportunities, right? As you take opportunities that you have in business through these 6 business requirements and through the next list that I'm going to give you, right? The 13 product requirements. Think about the one thing. And I know that I didn't give it to you yet, but I want you to think about the one thing. Think about the one thing that you could do that would have a domino effect. So you get one task done, you roll out one thing on your to-do list, and by you getting that one thing done, it automatically knocks over and sets up step 2, step 3, step 4, step 5. So think about the things that you're doing that really have leverage and play into the next to do. Think about the tasks that are connected. Okay? So this is one of the big ways that you can gain a lot of leverage and traction very fast. Okay? So me, guys, I got to give you a little spoiler because I want to give you some context on the one thing for me. I want to bring this home in a real scenario for you guys. So, the way that I've implemented the one thing in kind of a beta alpha type of scenario, just one way, is I've went to my market's influencers, right? I've strategically gotten intros and referrals to all the influencers in the marketplace, right? The next marketplace we're going after. And I've made each and every one of them a deal that they can't refuse, right? This is like, if you've heard of like a mafia offer or the big idea, like this is like, they all looked at me like, are you freaking crazy, right? I went to a no pitch event and I closed half the people in the room without a pitch, right? So I just, guys, I stuck my money where my mouth is, right? When everybody else is charging 10 and getting half the results, I'm charging 2 and getting double the results, right? That's the type of offer, okay? So I made this offer with all of these influencers. And the reason that I did it is because by doing this offer, this marketing for these influencers, part of the deal of them saying yes and taking me up on the offer was that they have to let me do a case study. And they have to be willing to tell their customers and their audience about the results that I get them as long as they're happy with the return on investment, right? So they agreed. It's a beta program, it's an alpha program, that they're gonna let me do a case study and that they're going to give me referrals. Everybody following? Give me a 3. So step 1, me pitching these influencers. These are also the people in the marketplace that have a big budget. So guess what? I just built a 6-figure business in one event, having one 60-minute presentation, more like probably 45-minute presentation. Okay, this though is the one thing, because now each of these people are required, right, to refer me as long as I do a good job. So for me, the influencers as a step 1 automatically gets me a boatload more business on step 2, right? So domino number 1 was influencers, right? And then domino number 2 was retail customers. Does that make sense? Give me a 3 if you got it. So if I would have went and tried to go direct to retail immediately without going through the influencers, it would have been a much, much slower path, right? Instead, right, I just installed a turbo on the Corvette, right? This is going to get me to the end result or to my goal much faster. So I want you guys thinking in your 6 business requirements as you're building out your marketing plan, right, to always be thinking about the one thing. Where do I get the leverage that's going to bring me all the business tomorrow? And how do I get there fast? So the other great thing, Derek says, I got it, a bigger foot in the door. Well, Derek, it's not really a bigger foot in the door. You see, what I sold them was a foot in the door product. So they still have the value ladder to climb. They're going to be able to go from that foot in the door to the next level, to the next level, to the next level. And some of them are upgrading automatically already. All right, so the 6th business requirement should be obvious, folks, but I feel like when people are building out a business, they're really not thinking about this. The product must deliver results. And really what I mean by that is that should be like a duh statement. But what I really mean by that is we have to be able to show deniable proof. You guys know me, right? Look in the footer there of the slide. The case study to prove it and the software to do it, right? We got to be able to deliver deniable proof about our results, right? And so what I don't believe in selling is activity-based services. Okay? I don't really believe in selling activity-based services. I just don't think that there's that much value in something when you're just selling an activity and can't demonstrate a return on investment. And so that's why I've always played in the pay-per-click, pay-per-call, SEO, call tracking world, right? Because I sell with conviction and I sell with results. And at the end of the day, I'm not interested in changing that. Okay, so this was an important one for me and something that I think a lot of people overlook. And I think that if you guys really looked at your businesses right now, you probably have some issues, some products that you offer, right, or that you deliver that really interfere with number 6. All right, so good stuff, some aha moments so far. So we just went through the 6 business requirements. We're 35 minutes into the webinar. And we got the 13 rules every product must fit to go through yet. So I just need some feedback from you guys. Good stuff. Amen. Undeniable results. Yes, yes, yes. Let's see, I think GoToChat froze for a second. Great job. Fantastic stuff. Yeah, completely frozen. I'll get it in like a minute probably. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, good. All right, so next up, so those were the 6 business requirements. So like, what are the fundamentals, right, for the business? So now what I want to walk through, and there's going to be a little bit of crossover here, right? But that's good, that's important. What I want to walk through now is the 13 rules every product must fit. All right, so first and foremost, number 1 is in every single offer, we need to be able to sell the offer to most, if not all of the market or markets that we decide to go after. Now that's a mouthful. It's a big mouthful. So I got to give Russell Brunson his second props and his final props for today's webinar. As I sat at Funnel Hacking Live, I took a picture and I posted it on Twitter and I think on LinkedIn. But it was a picture of me doing a selfie with the entire crowd of 5,000 people behind me. And in that post, I talked about my aha moment, right, was that none of my offers are big enough or wide enough. And what I really mean by that is that all of my offers to date, everything that I sell to an agency, and to be frank, guys, like, it's a little weird to talk about, but everything that I sell to you guys as well applies to a percentage of a percentage of a percentage of a percentage of the marketplace. And I used to think that that was really cool until I was surrounded by 5,000 people at Russell Brunson's event. And it all came sinking in. Holy shit, I'm missing the boat. Derek says, where's that pic? On my LinkedIn, I believe. I know for sure, and I believe it's also Derek on my Twitter, personal, on both. So that has to change, right? Like, I need a big, honking, sexy foot in the door offer that delivers amazing value, that everybody can see the value in, right? And that I can sell to every Tom, Dick, and Harry in the marketplace. And if I can do that, if I can just do that, and I can build a great value ladder in terms of sales, it's fucking game over. Give me a 3 if that was a good takeaway for you guys, because this for me, I mean, it seems freaking obvious, but guys, like literally 10 years in the making, I've been shitting the bed, so to speak. I've been letting this one just pass me by. Rule number 2 is that each and every product has to stand on its own with the value that it drives. What I mean by that is if somebody kind of skips their way in the value ladder and they skip option number 1 and they buy option number 2, right? Like what I want to sell after they buy number 1. If they go directly, they skip go, they pass product offering number 1 somehow, and they buy number 2, I want it to be able to stand on its own with value. I don't want them to have to purchase 1 to make 2 worthwhile, which then makes 3 worthwhile. Okay? Each and every product needs to and must stand on its own with value. I see a lot of people packaging in and adding in. I got a bronze, I got a silver, I got a gold, but they're packaging in and they're adding in things that are, can I just say it? Shit. Right? They're fluff. They don't work. They don't deliver results. They don't make you look good. Right? And they definitely don't stand on their own. Rule number 3 of the 13 rules, every product must fit, is that it's gotta be capable of being communicated with a big marketing idea. So this comes from my neighbor here, little southwest of me, Todd Brown. And if you guys don't follow Todd Brown, I would highly suggest it. We got a great interview with Todd Brown on the Digital Triggers site and on the YouTube channel. Just go back a ways to like the start of the channel. One of the first interviews that we did here at Digital Triggers was with Todd Brown. Todd is a brilliant, brilliant copywriter and angles guy. And the thought process is that each and every product that you sell has to be able to be communicated with what he calls this quote unquote big marketing idea that makes it, your product, better than every other product in the marketplace, even if they're similar. So there's got to be some type of unique mechanism, right, in the product that you can sell, right, with this big marketing idea so that you become the thought leader and you become the standard, you become the go-to. No. You know, Jamie's product doesn't have the whiz bang, right? I'm going with Joe's because his has got the whiz bang, right? And that's what makes this whole thing work. It's that type of quote unquote big marketing idea, that type of big hook or angle that you need to really stand out. And if I'm going to go try to sell a product and I'm going to go try to compete in the marketplace, I'm going to need that big marketing idea, right? So that I can grab the prospects, right? Like I'm fishing, right? Fish in a barrel. Boom, 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 boom. Okay, so think about that unique mechanism and think about how you can communicate that in what Todd calls his big marketing idea. So again, if you're not familiar with that, a little studying that you guys can do, go look up Todd Brown on the Digital Triggers site or on YouTube. Fantastic, fantastic resource there. Okay. Number 4, each and every product should add on value or enhance the value of our other products. Right? So everything should be like doing multiplication, not just addition, if that makes sense. It's not just going to help it a little bit, it's going to help it a lot. Why? Why is that important, guys? The value ladder. Right? So 1 + 1, I'm not interested in getting to 2. Right? How do I have 1 + 1 = 5? That's the context, right? So how do we build a menu of offerings, right? An upgrade path of offerings, a value ladder, right? Where each and every item that you sell enhances and multiplies the value of the other products. Because if you can do that, you can get your customers to upsell themselves. Number 5 is to be capable of delivering your product at a minimum. I should be getting a big fat thank you for this one. 75% margin. Way too many of you guys are running super skinny profit margins. It's no wonder you're not taking home the money that you should be, right? Joe, I got a business doing 30 grand a month. Great, fantastic, you're crushing it. No, I'm taking home 3 grand a month. What the hell? So it is a rule. It is a rule, right? Rule number 5, that every product we can deliver at a minimum of a 75% margin. Why is this so important, guys? This isn't me being greedy, right? This is me being happy. This is my team being happy. This is us being able to fulfill and get amazing results, right? And this is me being able to scale. See, a lot of businesses get to 10, 15, 20 grand a month, even like the example that I gave, 30 grand a month as an agency, and then they just run into a wall. And a lot of times the reason is that margin. Number 6, you guys will love this one too. For all you fulfillment experts out there, and for all of you guys, sales guys that are selling custom off things, you're gonna hate me for this one. Each and every product that you sell should be deliverable in a single process that does not require customization for each client. Now, does that mean if you're creating, banners that you can't change out the logo? No. What I really want you guys to get though is that the process doesn't get customized for each client, right? The process is the process. If the process is, we're gonna take the logo and apply it to the website, that's fine. Your process can't change. So I know a lot of you guys are selling deals, and you're selling deals with a tweak here, a tweak there, you're making exceptions here, you're making exceptions there. Folks, that doesn't work at scale. Right? When you're bringing on 10, 15, 20 customers a week, or for some of you guys, it would be in a month, right? And your fulfillment team, you have to communicate all these tweaks and changes with, and they have to communicate right? All your product managers, your fulfillment managers have to communicate it to everybody on the team. And then when they're checking the work, it has to be communicated as well, right? You're gonna mess shit up, and that shit is gonna end up losing you customers. So don't think that you're doing the customer a favor. When you make an exception to changing your process, right? When you agree, when you let a customer talk you into changing your process, you are doing them a disservice, not a favor, because you're gonna shit the bed, your team's gonna mess up, and it's gonna be your freaking fault. So when we do sales training, when I do sales training, we talk about selling with quality, right? And the goal of selling with quality is to ensure that one thing happens. When you take a prospect from a prospect to a customer, that they stick around once they buy, right? And that they're happy. Okay? One of the easiest and most surefire ways to screw that up and to not sell with quality is to make exceptions to the process. Yeah, no problem, I'll include that too. Or yeah, I know we don't actually do that, but I'll make it happen for you. going to piss off your customer. You're going to lose them. What's going to happen when you don't sell with quality? You're going to be onboarding people as fast as people are canceling and offboarding, which means your company isn't growing and you're running 100 miles an hour to not grow. Trust me, I've been there. It sucks. It really sucks. Completely spinning your wheels. Next, point number 7 is show long-term value for retention. So a lot of things that I feel like people in the yes, I'm saying it. I feel like a lot of people are in the agency market are selling things to local business owners that have short-term value, not long-term value. Right, so, hey, Mr. Customer, I'll help you get a bunch of reviews really quick. Great, how much is it gonna cost? It's gonna cost $1,000. And then they're like, why didn't that customer stick around? Everything should be delivering long-term value. And if you're delivering long-term value, right, you're gonna have retention. Folks, at the end of the day, monthly billing, monthly recurring revenue is the thing that's going to make you able to exit and to leave your company one day, right? Without that, you can never leave. So I want you guys to understand that you are building a company that you can never leave. You can't ever get out of it. I mean, you can, but it's going to be ugly. Retention is the name of the game, right? Nobody wants to buy a business that doesn't have retention. So when we're building out the product and the value ladder, the suite of products that we're going to offer, we 100% have to be able to show and demonstrate the value, the return for retention, long term, not just in month 1. Frankie Allen says, Joe, you're on fire today. Thanks, homie. You would never know that I woke up at 4:30 this morning. Yeah. And that this is my second webinar. Okay. So, all right. So number 8, this is gonna ruffle some feathers. This is really gonna ruffle some feathers. My 8th criteria, my 8th rule, right, of the 13 rules every product must fit, is that each and every product has to be capable of being bought with a buy now button. Does it mean that they have to be bought with a buy now button? No. But they have to be capable of being bought with a buy now button. So let's unpack that a little bit. What does that mean? I believe that a lot of us, a lot of people in the industry have sold low ticket kind of front end products to get their foot in the door with a customer. I think it's a great way to blow up the number of customers that you have really fast. I think that the downside is that at scale is tough, right? And the reason that people do that is then to upsell into another offer. So me personally, I want to challenge that in my business, right? So I'm getting on a call to give away something, to then get on a call and upsell something. Just seems like a lot. I'm not saying a foot in the door offer is wrong, but if I really do a good job with 1 through 7, and I do a really good job on the other list of 1 through 6, if I really challenge myself, I challenge the big idea, I challenge the unique mechanism, I challenge the value ladder, right? And every other thing that we've walked through so far, shouldn't I be able to get them to buy now with a buy now button instead of having to jump on a consult or a phone call or a strategy call? If it's that good, if it really fits all of these rules, why? I see a lot of people in the industry zigging. And I believe that the money is made when you zag. I'm gonna zag. So what I mean by that, I'll give you an example in the industry. I'm sure you guys can come up with other examples. I see a lot of people in this space saying that you should run a strategy call from the get-go with a cold prospect. Then with that strategy call, you should build out a marketing plan, or the bare bones of the marketing plan. And from there, right after that marketing plan is built out on this strategy session call, you get their help in building out the plan. Then you charge them 10 grand to help flesh out that plan for you. Not to do it, right? Not step by step, just to flesh it out, right? Then once you sell that $10,000 package, right, and you fulfill on it, then you go from there and you sell a $10,000 a month offer. Folks, that's what your competition is doing right now. That's what's being taught. That's what most quote unquote big successful agencies, or a lot of them, are doing. I believe that we can skip that. I believe that we can scale it. I believe that we can scale this whole thing, this whole agency, a whole lot faster if we follow the criteria that I've been through so far, right, and the rest of these 13, and we think about this truly being capable of being bought with a buy now button. That doesn't mean that we can't jump on a webinar to have people buy. That doesn't mean that we can't provide a foot in the door or value first. That doesn't mean that if we have a really good qualified prospect on the line and has one question, that we can't jump on the phone with them. Right? So number 8, again, is that the product is capable of being bought or being sold with a buy now button. Good shit? Give me an 8 if that was good. I think this one's worth its weight in gold. And I think this is the key to a lot of scale for people on this call right now. Number 9, you guys know me. I deal a lot with Google. I love Google. I also hate Google. Right? It's a very much give, take, and a lot of take relationship, it seems like. Google is a big public company. They throw all of us the zoo, the pandas, the penguins, and the hummingbirds, and everything else. With Google, you see them itching in and taking kind of market share, you could argue, away from agencies. Right? Do I ever think that there won't be a need for agencies? No. Like, business owners aren't marketers, and they don't know what's happening. They're not up to speed. There will always be a need for people that understand what they don't. Right? And it's not because most of them are dumb. Well, some of them are. It's mostly just an education ploy. They haven't went through the hundreds of hours of education on marketing that you guys have, or the thousands of hours. So number 9 for me is a lot about fundamentals and not being able to be replaced by a Google, we will do it for you offer. Number 10, require no more than 1 client interaction per month. Yeah. So outside of onboarding a customer, right? I don't believe that there's any time that you should need more than 1 client interaction per month. Take this from a guy that has sold huge whales, right? Spending $100,000 a month in PPC, $80,000 a month in PPC. Sold one gentleman that was doing about that across 2 different accounts, so double those numbers, right? In 1 sale, right? That's a freaking whale of a client. Trust me when I say There is no need for more than one client interaction per month. If both parties come to the table prepared, it will be an effective and efficient meeting. There are no guarantee, or there are no reasons, quite literally, there are no reasons for, as Derek says, calls at 3 o'clock in the morning. Frankly, that's bullshit, right? And we need to do a better job as agencies setting the proper expectations. Larry says 10, smiley face. Number 11 is we need to not be dependent on clients' actions. How many of you guys have products that you're selling right now, that you're onboarding customers for, that you literally can't onboard a customer, meaning you can't actually start doing work for them without them doing something? So let me get this straight, Larry, Derek, right? Ricardo, Paul, Frankie, Michael, Larry, right? I just paid you X amount of dollars and now you need me to do something else? How many tasks is it? I thought it was one. I need to do 10 things? Like, why'd you just create me a job, Larry? Why'd you just create me a job, Frankie? So think about how you can make that process as seamless as possible, right? And you need to not be dependent on your client's actions. So I'll give you an example of how we overcome some tricky scenarios like this, if this makes sense to you guys. Give me a 2 if you want me to cover this real fast. Fill out the intake form. Yeah, not really though. It doesn't really work. 2, not in most scenarios anyway, Frankie. So what we're doing in 11 is once we sell a deal, the first thing that happens, we always get paid right away, immediately, right? So a deal doesn't get onboarded until we get paid. That should be obvious. Everybody should be falling in line with that, right? But immediately what happens in the sales process, we get the customer to sign, right? We get the credit card information, we got the agreement signed, we charge the card, yes, it went through. All right, great, Mr. Customer. We quite literally have them open up their calendar and we schedule a call with our fulfillment team. Okay, the fulfillment manager then runs that call. She comes on, he comes on, right? And what they do on that call is very strategic. What we're doing is we're getting access to Facebook, we're getting access to Google, we're getting access to everything that we need access to, and we're doing it on the phone with the customer. Why? So when they send us their login, instead of actually having the onboard call, that they don't get the text message verification. They don't get the somebody from India is logging into your account, right? Somebody from the Philippines, somebody from, right, one of the outsourcers that we're using doesn't set off security metrics. For those of you guys that have scenarios like this, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And then your client goes, hey, Frankie, like I'm paying you, a lot of money for this. Who's logging into my account? I thought you did this stuff. Frankie, you're the expert, right? Guys, this makes some pretty sticky situations. Okay? And just the back and forth, even if your team's all in the States, let's take the outsourcing off the table. Your team's all in the States. Just onboarding a customer to run ads on any platform and get access to Google Analytics and install this tracking code and that tracking code and all that stuff. I challenge you guys that couldn't be done on one phone call in onboarding. Number 12 is that there has to be identifiable problems or opportunities that enable us to outbound prospect to what I call likely suspects. This simply means that I can find that if I'm going to sell PPC, that they're not using things that they should be, right? If they have a website, right, is it mobile optimized? If they're in Google My Business, is it verified, right? So I need to be able to find prospects that have problems. And guys, all problems are really opportunities. They're opportunities for you as an agency to solve them, but they're also opportunities for the local business to get fixed, right? That will make them money, that will save them money. Every problem is a potential opportunity. Okay, and so that's why I call them problem/opportunities. Okay, but we need to have those triggers that we can find that make us able to outbound prospects to people that we can help. So many of you guys know that my messaging for all of my prospecting is, I know that you have this problem. I've helped other people do it. Here's proof. Would it be worth me helping you too? That's how complicated my sales message is. It's not hard, right? Not hard. Number 13, guys, this is it. The 13 rules every product must fit. Number 13 is, of course, folks, be part of that larger value ladder. So if your product matches everything, the last criteria is, where do we stick it in the value ladder? And does this make sense? If it meets every other criteria, if it meets all the other 12 criteria, where does it fit? And does it fit? Or is there a conflict? Don't stick a product into your services, right? Into your value ladder haphazardly. Have this criteria. All right, guys, so I'm going to answer 3 quick questions, the top 3 questions that I've got since we sent out the I Quit email and I posted the I Quit video. I'm going to answer those 3 quick questions really fast, just because they were frequent. And then I'm going to open it up and I'm going to give you guys the opportunity to ask me questions. So if you have a question, please take the time now to ask it in the chat. As always, guys, I'm happy to answer anything for you guys. Somebody I saw earlier in the chat, sorry, it just wasn't question time yet, was asking a question about scope leads, which was a product that we talked about this week, and a product that I bought and suggested, some people buy. So if you got a question on that, let me know. Pixel Scout, sorry, was that the name? Pixel Scout. Yeah, thanks, Usman. You had to correct me on that. So happy to answer that question. If you have any questions on other takeaways, you want me to dive into a different point, guys, these calls are for you, and there really is no too personal question. Happy to talk about whatever. So again, at the end of the day, folks, this for digital triggers, this AMA for me is step 1 of my value ladder. Right? There is no other upsell here, right? Like, this is just step 1. And my goal is just to wow each and every one of you guys, right? I've been very open and honest about this. I've been running these calls for, I think, about 7 months, 8 months, and there's never been one pitch. I've recommended funnel hacking live notes when I was there, right? Because I buy them every year. Tim Castleman's a cool dude too. He always does a great job on the notes. And I think that's quite literally the only product that we've ever even talked about. Okay, so it's just a way for me to give back and to deliver. Okay, so with that being said, right, go subscribe. Go to YouTube, type in digital triggers, and hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. So real quick, we're going to go through the 3 biggest questions I've received so far, and then I'm going to answer some questions from the chat, and we're going to shut today down. All right, I appreciate you guys spending the last hour and 10 minutes or so with me. So definitely by far, the biggest question that we've gotten so far basically goes something like this. Joe, what's next? Your biggest move yet? What's happening? Or, Joe, what's next? I can't wait to see what's next. Show me what's inside. Right? So guys, this is happening. Right? I do have a very, very big next move. And I need you guys to understand that I know that I just sent you guys the I quit messaging this week, right? But the fact of the matter is I really quit over 6 months ago and couldn't share it with you guys yet because all the deal and partnership and everything had to be separated and pulled apart, and I exited Web 1, right? So we had to finish those details first. So it may seem like I'm moving fast, but in reality, right, like this has consumed my mind and all of my time, effort, and resources since. Okay, so I believe that what's coming next is going to make everything else that I've done so far look tiny, like a speck on the ground. I have some big, monstrous, ridiculous size goals, and I have a vision that is huge, right? A vision that, frankly, guys, follows each and every one of these 13 rules, right? And I can't wait to share it with you guys. So kind of step one, and it's going to take me a little bit of time to unpack and catch you guys up with what the hell I've been doing. It's going to be an interesting ride, and Friday of this week, you guys are going to get an email from me at normal time, 9 a.m. Eastern, and that will really make some people's heads spin. But this is step one. This is move one and a big game of chess that I'm playing. And I would love to have you guys along for the journey. It's going to be ridiculous. The next question is a little deeper, right? What types of products, Joe, or services are you going to be focusing on now? And I think that I need to handle kind of what products and services I left the relationship with Ben, right? So Digital Triggers is my brand. I own that exclusively now. I also retained Sendwire. So Sendwire is still going to be a big focus for me. I retain the Mastermind. The Mastermind, guys, is the only place where you can get me truly one-on-one, right? Private conversations, and my small community feel. My goal for the Mastermind, by the way, some people have asked, like, what's the goal? I want a small community of people that are all working towards the same thing, that are helping each other. Okay, so in the past, I've had what I've called a mastermind. It's really been like sales training, right? And then we've had 200 or 300, 350 people in there, not interested in that, right? It's more about the value that I can bring to a small group of people that can value the group's time and that can value my time that they're getting and that I've dedicated to be one-on-one, because obviously that is a big time commitment for me. We rolled out almost a year ago now our white hat link building at scale program. And in the last probably 6 months or so, we've built links from over 300 root domains, doing guest posts or sponsored posts. So that will continue to be a big focus of ours and mine. And at some point, probably in the future, we'll do a relaunch, but I don't really have a timeline on that. That's called Guest Post Beta. And the training that we teach that process in is called Backlink Outreach Masterclass. So those are kind of the things on my radar, the products or service offerings that I'm offering that are live, right? And that are available to everybody as a Digital Triggers member and customer. Okay, so those are my core concentrations at the moment. Okay. And then again, in terms of timeline, like Joe, when should we be looking out for announcements? What's happening? So the first chess move, the first announcement happens on Friday. And then going into next week, folks, you're going to want to be really paying attention to my emails from Friday throughout the end of next week. And that should get you guys kind of caught up on step 1 and 2, so to speak, and show you where my bigger vision is. Let's see, Larry W says ACT, so analytic call tracking, Ben and the Web1 team retained, they own, they're gonna continue, to support, to run, and I would expect the same great, resources and support team that you guys have always had with ACT. Okay. All right, now I'm gonna open it up. We'll take a couple of questions here and we'll go from there. Grab some water here, I'm a little parched. All right. Not seeing really any questions so far. Lots of ahas. Somebody said, oh, I did purchase Scope Leads a while back. Yeah, sorry for the wrong name there. As you guys can tell, lots of crazy stuff happening. So Chris Vai says, is there a tool out there that can show me who is not running call-only ads? Unfortunately, I don't really know of one, Chris. We're doing some prospecting, obviously, with call-only ads, and we're just having one of our VAs do the prospecting. So we've built a list of everybody in the niche. We've gotten rid of, at least to start, everybody that doesn't have emails on that list, kind of narrowed it down, filtered down to there. Then we're looking at specifically people that are running ads, which is dropping that list even further. And then we're just kind of manually going and checking. To be frank, Chris, in most markets though, in the market that we're prospecting to, there's a lot of people doing call-only ads. In most markets, there aren't any. So if you're in a market, Chris, where people aren't doing it, I would just make the assumption that they're not, and then I would apologize in the outreach if they are. Okay, but it kind of depends on what the market looks like. Obviously, if there's lots of people doing it, then I would never do that. Hope that makes sense. Michael says, how do we change from what we've been doing to what you're suggesting, Joe? Michael, I think to start, right, if I were you, if you're a drinker, if you're a smoker, if you're a coffee drinker, I don't know, right? Like wherever you do your best thinking. I don't know if that's in the shower. I don't know if that's on the toilet, right? Wherever that thinking time is for you, I would take the time to write down, right? And to really think through the 2 checklists that I gave you today. And the replay will be available tomorrow for you guys to go through as well. And I would really start thinking through this process for yourself, right? And as I start making my chess moves, so to speak, as I start rolling out the game plan, as you guys start to see it, you're gonna see the moves that I'm making. You're gonna be able to start seeing my value ladder. You're gonna start seeing, first what you guys are gonna see, I can't go there actually. I gotta leave something for you guys. Usman, my team's like telling me to pump the brakes, Joe, we're not ready yet. So I would start going through the criteria, right? For the product and then also for the business as well, Michael. Ricardo says, is lead gen prospector handled by digital triggers or Web1? Ricardo, great question, and I'm sorry for spacing on lead gen prospector. So lead gen prospector is being handled by digital triggers. Michael says, thanks, great advice. You're definitely welcome, brother. Hopefully I provided you with some value here today. All right, last call, guys, for questions. I don't have any, so I can't really answer any. Obvious statement of the day goes to Troyer. Frankie. So Frankie, yes, so you're going to see that next week. So some of you guys have been following me talk about some SOPs that I want to release to you guys. Some operating procedures that my team handles essentially for fulfillment. And those are literally right around the corner. Hope that helps, Frankie. John says, biggest value of the mastermind or of mastermind. So John, Guild, there's kind of 2 angles, right? So the mastermind, let's say 3 angles, right? So angle number 1, if you guys want to learn pay per call, and how to do it right, I don't think that there's any better resource out there for how to sell on and fulfill on pay per call deals. So that's number one. Number two, most of the training when we do objection handling in there, when we do rebuttal handling in there, when I talk about how to build a sales stack, right? When we talked about outbound emails, when I talk about like messaging to get inbound calls from voice drops, so much of that, like I really go and talk about the why you say what you should say, not just here's the script for pay per call, go, see you later, right? So if you need help in terms of building an actual agency business, John, I think point number two would be like there's just a ridiculous amount of training in there. And then three would be you get access to me. And it's the only place that really you get access to me one-on-one, besides paying $1,000 an hour for my time. And I rarely take on those gigs, typically 1 or 2 a month out of our 40,000 customers. So in that, what happens is we have a private thread inside of a forum. And what happens is I have you kind of tell me about your business, John. And we talk about the hurdles that you're going through and what your goals are. And then I'll help you build a plan and content to go through based upon the resources that I have available for you, whether that's referrals, whether that's sales or training, whether it's sales or fulfillment or building a company or prospecting, whatever it is, right? I'll tell you, hey, John, here are the 3 things out of your list of 6 that I think is going to make the biggest impact right now. Go watch this trainer, go through this process if there's a process associated with it, right? And check back when it's done. Right? And then I'll preview it for you. We'll walk through the results, right? So you're getting me one-on-one. So I hope that helps, John. Ricardo said, I wish you and Ben all the best. Thanks, man. I really appreciate it. And again, like I want to stress that like there is no bad blood. This is very amicable. Like you guys will see me talk about Web1's products, right? You will see me talk about the Web1 team members probably, and you will see me email about their products. Obviously just have 2 very different visions for the future. So George asked, the 4th product you mentioned, the one about link building, is that software or is it training? So George, it's both that we rolled out. So it's white hat outreach for guest posts and sponsored posts at scale. There's a training component of that, very in-depth. I believe it's a 4-week program that we take you through, and all the scripts and all the like step-by-step documents in there, how to set it all up, how to execute it. And then there's some software that goes along with it. And then there's also an opportunity for people that jump in Backlink Outreach Masterclass Beta for us to actually do a done-for-you version of it as well. So I hope that makes sense. George, if that's of interest, I don't want to pitch everybody, right? That's not why we're here. That's not why I do these AMAs. If that's of interest, just hit up support and let them know any questions that you got. Most likely, they'll pass that question off to me and you'll be dealing with me inside of Slack or inside of Intercom support. All right, so Patricia says, please do talk about Pixel Scout. So last question here, Patricia, let me know what Pixel Scout question or questions you have, and I'm happy to answer them. In the meantime, while I'm waiting for you to type that in, I'll talk about why I think it's cool. So we talked about having opportunities to see if somebody's doing something as a product criteria, right? Where they have a problem and there's an opportunity. Pixel Scout is a very, very limited, small cost opportunity to be able to find people that aren't dropping pixels or remarketing and retargeting pixels, right? So there's some products in the marketplace that do that, but they also do 35 other things and they cost a whole lot more money. So for me, Patricia, why I like it is it's a very self-contained, right, kind of prospecting tool that you could use for a front-end offer to say, hey, let me help you with that. I'll install the Pixel, or hey, you're missing out here. Let's have a consult, or hey, right? Like you could create lots of different approaches then in terms of prospecting. Does that make sense, high level? So if you have any specific questions. Frankie says, I love Pixel Scout. Yeah, so she said, yeah, it's about why you think it's a good idea. So at the end of the day, every business should be running remarketing and retargeting. And obviously that tool helps you find businesses and contact info for businesses that aren't, right? So that's a very easy opportunity. A very easy problem that you can turn into an opportunity by helping that prospect solve the problem. Awesome. So Patricia said she bought it. All right, fantastic, good stuff. So thank you guys so much for joining me on today's AMA. I do want to shut this thing down. We've been here for just about an hour and a half, and I want to respect your guys' time. I appreciate each and every one of you guys being here. I'd like to get one little piece of feedback. Give me a 1 in the chat if you guys are going to be tuning in to Friday's email at 9 a.m. Eastern, even though it's a holiday. Yeah, buddy. All right, good stuff. All right, everybody, have a fantastic week. And again, replay will be live tomorrow for the last 90-minute or so webinar on the YouTube channel, right? You can find it by just doing a quick search for Digital Triggers. Have a freaking fantastic week, everybody. Remember, nobody delivers more value than this guy right here. Joe Troy, signing out.